It's 4 o'clock. I'll call the McCracken City Commissioners work session to order for January 8th, 2023. Roll call. Austin McCracken, Mayor.
All right. Norma McNair, Commissioner. That was kind of a tongue twister.
Joe Jitman, Commissioner.
Nicole Fehrenbach, City Clerk.
All right, during this...
Amanda's not going to be here today.
That's fine. During this, public are welcome to attend. There'll be no public comment. There'll also be no minutes taken, nor anything written down. Anything you write down for notes are subject to quorum. That will be all. Moving along. No, we need to talk about the code of ordinances to get that started going.
That's what we need. I just figured we do, like, I don't know how it's really set up, I haven't looked, but I figured we do it sections at a time, you know? Just we've got to do this until we get it done. That's what Chris Gunn said. Like, we need to.
Well, it's really not going to be too difficult because about 3/4 of this book
Doesn't pertain to
apply
us.
to us. So I eliminated a whole lot real quick.
Well, I think what I understood from that guy that I talked to is that this isn't even, this is just what they give to everybody.
That's what he said
Yeah,
that day.
so-
He just said it was
Standard code.
Yeah.
It was a kind of a
Just a
generic.
very generic, yeah.
thing.
Just
So
to give
that's
them an
why I
idea,
said
yeah.
a big portion of it.
Because a lot of it's like to the council form of government, so it's not even our.
Pins.
Do you have another copy of that so I can read along?
Oh, you don't have your white copy that you brought to the last meeting?
I do.
That's what you need then?
It's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah, and yours should actually be a blue. I don't know where you got the white copy, but it should be a blue copy. The white copy should be retained in the office.
I made this one.
Okay.
But yeah, this is, and I didn't
there
realize
should have
how
been
much I
four
had
blue copies, I
actually went through it.
Are there 6 copies made or 4 copies made?
There were 6,
I don't know.
I believe.
I don't know if
I
Linda's
think
got
there was, in that box that it was sitting there, I think there was 6.
Then, okay, we've got 4, well,
I have
3.
1, 3.
Then Chris Gunn's got 1. And I don't know. 4, 5, there's 1 missing. Unless Amanda's got 1, I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't recall on that either. So, yeah. But a big portion of this is when I hadn't looked at it for a long time, so when you said that, I pulled it out and started going through it, and I thought, wow, I really went through a whole lot of it, at least half of it. That I had already went through, and I thought, well, about half of it. And then after we had talked to that guy at the
Niles, I think
thing,
his
I
name
was
was.
like,
Niles,
I can't remember what
I
his
think it
name was. Didn't he give us a card?
he did. It's hanging up in
I
the.
was gonna say, I can't remember what,
Yeah, I think his name's
I may
Niles
have it.
Herdman.
but yeah.
Not reading it anywhere, but I probably already missed it. Probably go too fast.
As far as the administration part goes and the governing body, I would think we could come back to that once we discuss talking about our actual form of government, commission-based form of government, organizational meeting with Chris Gunn. And Nicole can touch a little bit more on that. We don't have a city engineer.
No, and just so you know, we do not any longer have a city code enforcer, or
No.
whatever it was. He moved away.
Oh, he did completely
For
move
good.
away?
Yeah, he has for months.
Marshall.
Yes. Marshall, thank you.
Okay.
Marshall.
Yeah, I just found this out.
He just told you that he did?
No, Chris did. Chris Brook told me that he did. Yeah, I had no
He hadn't told
idea.
me that he was moving yet, so.
Yeah, he said, or she just said that, no, he's been gone for a couple months now. And I said, well, because I went over there to see the baby, and that's what she told me. And
It
so,
was my understanding he's coming back.
no, he's not coming back.
Okay, well then we can put out a name for city marshal.
Right. We will have to do that.
That's the beauty about the position's already created, the ordinance is already created, so.
I'm just glad
a matter of
I'm glad we
fulfilling
didn't
Just
pay
fulfilling
them
it, yeah.
anything.
Well, it
Just a
doesn't matter
matter of
because we don't have to, it can be,
Yeah. I don't know where, it must not say where, how many copies of that we got.
it can be local law enforcement, it doesn't matter. Cause it's not a,
And there was just a few changes
Location.
in that governing body anyway. It was just commissioners, one being a mayor, second Monday and the month at 6:30. That was basically,
what page did you see that on?
that was on 9.
So it should read mayor and 2 commissioners.
Well, actually, how do we say that? It's really because we're really 3 commissioners.
Yeah. The
By
mayor's the
one
one that
of
just
those-
chairs the meetings, that's
Right.
it, right? So I don't know how that would
So-
say.
It signs off
First
on
read.
documentation.
So we're really a 3 commissioners. We're not a mayor plus 3 commissioners. Or we're not really a
Oh,
mayor
it's
plus
weird.
2 commissioners. But yet technically, we kind of are.
Yeah, I mean, you
So-
would be because
I don't know how
How that's
that's
worded.
the
the mayor's
best
a
way.
rotating mayor.
Right, and I don't know how that's the best way to word that. I mean,
Well, that's why I
kind
think
of put
it
that
was
2 ways. I put it 3 commissioners, then I put it 2 commissioners, one being a mayor.
I guess I've even gone through this, I even started that, I don't even remember doing that.
See, I know. So, and then the date of the meeting is the second Monday at 6:30.
So it should say
So it should.
3 commissioners, 1 being the mayor.
Yeah, that's how I wrote it down.
And a president.
Well, those are by statute, so those come by statute.
Well, and
so-
there, is it in there about the president chairing the meeting if the mayor's not here?
Right, yes, there
I mean, that's a
is.
state statute.
So
I mean, that
that's
probably
that's
could
just
be
by
included.
statute.
You could probably almost put in like where it says, limited by law should be vested the mayor and the commission as governing body, and then see where it says KSA 12-103.
3.
So you could almost, probably cite the statute in there that shows that it has to have a
Okay.
president.
This is,
Yeah.
like, the power of the mayor, this is not right. Like, the mayor shall have the tie-breaking vote, that's not right.
No, that
So
doesn't
that has to
have
be
that.
out.
No, that has to go out.
But the mayor shall preside over the meetings, that is.
Because in our case, the mayor, that's why I said it's a 3
Yeah.
commission, because we all 3 have a vote.
Yeah, and like next year, it would change, the mayor wouldn't even be the same, it would be an
Yeah, you
appointed.
would,
So, yeah, I don't know how, maybe he'll know, because since he does this, how
well,
it should be
Well,
worded.
that's
how
why
it should be
yeah.
actually worded, but that is a correction. I just kind of put that there so that we knew that had to be corrected.
Okay,
More than anything, it just has to be worded correctly, whatever the
Well, and there's
correct-
there's no power to approve or veto any ordinance, so.
No, so those just have to be.
and this, from time to time, communicate to the city commission should not be on there, because that would be like a violation of,
Where's that?
it's number 5,
Where does it say?
like right above the have the power to approve or veto.
Oh, from time to time.
Oh,
communicate
I
with
see
the
what you're
city
talking about.
commission. Such information we recommend, such measures as you.
Yeah, that's not, that
No,
doesn't.
that wouldn't matter.
That should just be ousted.
What is reserved, what does that mean?
I don't know. Administrative powers. And then under that, okay, let's see, shortly
I don't know about this administrative powers, I don't think there are any administrative powers.
Where?
It would be on page 10, like the very bottom thing. Because we don't really have committees and all that stuff.
We do have a committee, it's the beautification committee.
I thought that didn't exist.
It does exist.
The beautification does,
The
Pride
does not.
Oh, okay.
Beautification is still got a ordinance.
Yep, and a resolution for a subcommittee of the city.
So I'm just gonna put me a note there so I remember it.
And in fact, at the last meeting, we talked about if we were going to, the public requested possibly doing committees and working on certain things, so we would eventually have committees, hopefully, so.
Well, you all basically gave, Diane over Christmas decorations.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. So, and she would probably have to form
She would have to form a
some
committee.
sort of a
Yeah.
committee, which she, I
Since
mean,
approved by the
that's
board.
fine.
Yeah.
mhm. On the code of
Kind
ethics,
of like
I
when
mean,
they
that's
put me that
already-
time, said, I made some comment about the pool, and so he says, when Chris goes, oh, so you'll do that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. I learned, you just kept your mouth shut, you didn't say nothing after that, because you got put on a
Committee, huh?
committee.
Works.
Okay.
Oh, so this says at the regular meeting in May of each year. Our organizational meeting is in January.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
Yes.
needs changed.
Yeah, Chris Gunn said that he made a mistake and put that in one of our ordinances that needed changed.
For May.
He
It's
wants-
May, yes. that
He wants it to
change.
go by the.
He wants to go
by
By the first
Hey.
organizational meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he said he did need to do that. I was
Because
supposed to find
I,
out.
see, he did it on his, and he also did it on YouTube. You and Amanda's. They both say that.
Okay, that's where I got that from. I
Yes.
wonder where I got that from.
It was the city clerk, the treasurer, and
The counselor.
a counselor.
Which would have
Were all
made sense
put-
because all those were made at the same time.
Well, he did. He made them in.
And he said that
basically
because
in
that's an
January.
easy fix.
Okay.
But I think he told me that he would find it and fix it. Because
It's
that's
just
I
a
went. I
matter
said,
of.
well, we just did that.
It's
in
just a
May.
matter of retyping
Yeah.
it up or running it and changing it from January to May.
Because yeah, when I told him that, I said, well, why did we do it in May? And he said, well, because I had made a mistake, and because I thought maybe I just pulled that
Well,
out
I
of the air.
seen it, and I probably should have questioned it at the time,
just-
but I didn't think, because I knew well, the clerk's book says, and
Well,
but I
that's-
just
yeah, I
thought
seen that
maybe
too.
he wanted it, which it's not wrong for us to
Yeah.
do, because some places will go December to December, some places go
fiscal year,
July
I think
to
it-
July.
yeah.
So, I mean, there's nothing absolutely wrong with it, but it's just according to the clerk's book and according, that does say May. So it would probably be better just to coincide with them.
So C needs striked out under page 16. That's not correct.
Which one?
C under page 16. Removal of officers, that's not correct. Mayor doesn't have the right to remove anybody.
Wait, I got. Oh, it's the different C.
On the page 16, the top of page 16.
Oh, you're talking up here.
Oh, this C.
Yes,
There's
because
three
I,
C's on that. 4
see,
C's on
I
that
crossed
page.
out
Oh,
mayor.
sorry, the top of page C.
See, I put, yeah, there's more
My
than
bad.
one. Because I crossed out mayor, because if you actually read that, it's by vote of commissioners. So that one really is.
Well, it says a majority of all elect members of the commission may
Right, but
remove
in our
any
case,
appointed
that would be
officer.
all vote of, the majority vote of the commissioners, so, yeah. And then in vacancy of officers, that one should put by governing body within 10 days of the state under the state statute. That one also is a 10-day fill. You have to fill that within 10 days.
Oh, for vacancy in office?
Yep,
Which item on page 16?
yes.
The very
The
top.
very top,
vacancy of
Oh,
office.
you're talking about
No,
Yeah.
the one
Because it's
the one
actually,
before that.
C,
oh, and that was C, the
Top.
one above it,
above,
on that page,
right,
16.
right under the number 16.
At the very top of the page, there's a C, yeah. That one should be a vote by all the members.
Assistant city clerk.
Well,
I don't know that would apply.
well, we don't I mean, they're putting this, if they're making this generic, they're making it for
Yeah.
class 1 and 2, which
Agree.
could
I'd
possibly
take
have.
one, though.
I mean, but a
Yeah.
a higher class would take more than one person, probably, well, I know class one would,
Absolutely. I think
definitely.
they have like 20
And
of
two
them.
would just be, if they wanted to, so, yeah.
Assistant city clerk could probably just stay in there in the code of
Yeah.
office in
Because you
case
never
you
know,
ever need
we
one.
might have a boom, a population
That
boom.
might happen.
You might
Oh,
need,
yeah.
you might, whether it's a population boom or not, you might need one.
I've been here 20 years, I haven't seen no boom. I'm not saying I couldn't, but I haven't seen one yet. I think that's all I've seen on that. Now in 18, page 18,
Okay,
there's
Okay,
quite
never
a
mind.
few. Because at the very top of the page, that D paid out city funds by
That's for
vote or
warrant.
ordinance should be, not by warrant.
no, warrant is when you, like,
no funds
it's
warrant?
a no funds warrant, like, and the city clerk signs for those. Yeah, it's like if you need money, like from the county or something, it's a no fund warrant.
And so it's it's called a no, it's called a
Yeah,
warrant?
it's just a weird name for it, I think, but yeah, it's called a warrant.
Okay, and then, ours is not really an attorney, ours is a counselor.
But we will need an attorney if we have a court.
And there's a lot of controversy, because I've just got done reading different things, and what was in the clerk's book, what it reads in the state statute. That is really, but to have a city attorney, they have to live in the city.
Yeah, but we'd have to
So we
charter her
try-
out of it to have a court. Unless somebody moves here, that's an attorney. That would be nice. Maybe I'll just go to school and just get my attorneys.
There you go.
So I like
7
to.
years.
I'll do that.
Because we don't have a planning commission zone board either, that number 6,
Well, we have the county zoning,
but that would be
but that
county.
one, yeah.
That would not
I
be.
think that's our planning commission, though. I think it's the county instead of a city. Because I don't think that Bison or any of those have one either.
But what I'm saying is that in our book, that would not apply, because we don't have a within our city. And we'd change it from really city prosecutor.
Would we need to add the
to
city
marshal,
councilor in
or is
there?
that, because the prosecutor is,
I just changed. city
Yeah,
attorney to
Chris
city
Gunn
council.
said that we would have to, a city attorney and the prosecutor could be the same person, he said. So it would still be a lawyer. The prosecutor would be the one that would prosecute in the court. And he said that they could be the same person.
Oh, the city prosecutor?
And the
I
city
think it was
attorney.
the city attorney, yeah.
Yeah.
So we need to charter out of the city limit on that, right?
on the.
Yeah, we can
on
charter
the
out of just certain sections of it. We can charter out of just the attorney section of it.
attorney.
Yeah.
Because I still think that the city clerk needs to live in town and the
Oh,
city,
well,
you know.
I do,
There's
because
just no
there's
way, I
no-
don't think you could.
I just meant this.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
we
think you
would
could
have
not
to.
live in town. I mean, it would be impossible.
Well, there's no different than the city attorney not living in town as there is to the city judge not living in town.
True.
We're not gonna get either of those in this
Exactly.
town.
Yeah.
You know?
And besides, the city attorney can be in more than one city. They can take care of more than one city.
Now, every time it says city council, should we cross that out and put commission?
Yes,
Okay.
because we are not a council. And I have went through and done that on mine. Okay, and we don't have city engineers.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that
you
can-
never know.
Well, at this point in time, we can add 2, but we can't, we don't need to have something in there we don't have. So we don't have a city, and I hope to God we never have to have a city engineer. That's a whole nother gamma.
Yeah, we don't use city engineer.
Conflict of interest.
Now, that city engineer, does that change anything as far as?
Well, we would though, if we would wanna redo our sewer or anything like that, we would.
Well,
need
that's
to-
what I'm asking. Does it change as a
Yeah.
hired engineer? Is
No,
there a
because you would
difference?
sublet that out. You would, you don't
Yeah,
have.
we wouldn't have one on staff.
You wouldn't have one on staff that you're paying, and this
Yeah.
is an on-staff paying
I don't think we
position.
need that at all.
No.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, we really wouldn't even begin to have the funds for
Yeah,
that.
but no, in the city, the only time
Because
we ever
an
had an
engineer
engineer was,
is
they're-
quite
they're
expensive.
the only time we had an engineer was when we did the,
Well, when they
Water
were
wells
doing the
that didn't work.
sewers too, I'm sure they did an engineer at that time. But they probably went through a company that just did it.
I think so, I think they went through Great Bend.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure they did. I kind of faintly remember John talking about that.
what about 1-3114, appointment of employment in more than one position?
That's the same thing, I think, like, that we, well,
I mean, you're appointed to two different positions, but they're not due to incompatibility. So it does say you're
Yeah.
appointed to incompatible offices, so that might cover that.
I'm not appointed to the water clerk though. I'm just the water clerk, because I didn't have to be sworn in.
No, but you're hired. as a
Yeah, but
water
it said,
clerk.
the person may be appointed to, the same person may be appointed to more than one appointed
Oh,
office.
appointed offices, okay.
Or employed.
Yeah, or employed.
Yeah, it just says, but you can't be, that's a state statute, so that's gotta stay.
Well, I'm just wondering the way it's worded, if there's any changes.
Yeah, I don't think
Because it
so.
doesn't say anything about the state statute.
It just
around the
kind of
conflict of
covers
interest.
all areas, I
Yeah.
would say, in that, whether you was appointed, whether you was employed, either or.
As long as that covers us, we're good.
And is our bonds the same as this amount, or is there a different amount?
I would think they'd be the same, yeah, they're the
I
same.
was thinking, when we was talking, you and I was talking with BAP, I was thinking that that was the same.
We also do, the commissioners are, and that's not on there, the commissioners are all bonded at 1,000 or 10,000, one of the two, I can't really remember.
I can't either, but I do remember.
It's like by
us doing it.
statute, like it's the,
Yeah.
So I'm just
yeah.
gonna write, and
And
commissioners
commissioners.
bonded by statute.
I probably need to get ready to do that again, 'cause it's almost been a year. It's a blanket bond, that's right. So there it
I
is
was
right
gonna
here.
say, yeah, so do you have to renew that every year, or is it just
I have to
unless
pay
there's
it.
a
I think I have
change?
to, oh, maybe I don't have to pay it every year. I don't know. I'll have to ask.
Yeah, because
didn't think
I
about
don't
that.
know how that works either. I just knew that when I was at the library, our treasurer always was bonded,
Uh-huh.
but I think he just went and done that.
Well, and
so.
there, in the safe deposit box, there's a bond, like certificate in there for the library. So I wonder if that is just a pay once thing.
I don't know. Like I said, I've really never had to deal with that.
So we don't know what these amounts are.
I do think the treasurer
I
and
can
the
go
clerk
get it.
is 10,000 each. I'm pretty sure they are. And of course, at the time, we haven't had court, so I don't,
So we
That
don't know
might
what the
be-
commissioners is.
and the commissioners are by state statute.
Well, we really can't go off the court that they did have here in this town because it wasn't legal.
No,
so-
well,
Blanket one that
and
covers
usually,
everybody.
and generally speaking, what I have seen in the past, like a judge is already, I mean, they're bonded.
Well, they probably
through-
bonded themselves. Mm-hmm.
They're bonded themselves, so I don't really know that that would have to be something we would do anyway. I'm not sure.
That's why I feel
I'm
like the
just gonna
administration
put,
sections
I'm
are all
gonna
questions
put a
for Chris.
question there.
Organization
Question mark.
meeting. I feel like our meat and potatoes of this actual book that we know anything about would start after chapter 2. Or during chapter 2. Beginning with chapter 2, sorry.
We're all at 10,000.
Okay,
Nice.
I was thinking that when we was talking to him, I truly was really, that's what came to my head, and I but again, it was just going on thought
I didn't
process.
realize that it was that high for everybody.
Okay,
How good that it is.
and then instead of us having a police, we have a marshal over on page 27. And our fire chief is in the county, that he's under county, he's not under city. And at this point in time, we have counselor, not attorney.
So under open records and all the 1602, that applies to Nicole.
And Amanda, she's like my designee. On the bottom of page 27.
Oh, I'm on 25, sorry. Designee, this is Amanda.
Yeah.
Well, and then 608, that would say city clerk, as they blocked it out there, but that would say city clerk, because that's what we,
Yeah, it's just the easiest to do it that way. Okay, those fees, does anybody remember what those are?
that's what I was,
For what?
okay, it was 50 cents a copy.
I think it was 25, wasn't it?
As for the open records fees,
Yeah,
I would just put C ordinance and then put what the ordinance is.
I don't even remember what that number is. I got it though.
Because they've all been set.
Officers 216.
I just have to say, I looked at this online the other day,
22.16.
because we need a new one of these for our minutes. So the books, they're $50 each for just the binder. So we're gonna use cheap ones from now
I
on.
was
just so
gonna
you guys
say,
know.
I have another one at the house,
Just for
just
this
like
glass.
this
Is it a
one.
fire safe?
I don't know what
No,
makes
they're
them so
not, they're
special.
just, because they got a piano, it's called a piano hinge back.
Well, that is crazy.
Yeah, it's stupid.
It was one company in the whole, like, internet that sold them. The whole internet.
I just thought maybe
Okay,
they were fire
regular,
safe.
I think
I
it's
just
22/16, I
Or did they-
think.
Yeah.
50 cents per copy.
Is it 50 cents?
Yep, I thought it was.
Yeah, I don't know what makes them so
And
special. But
$7
special.
charge per hour for
Inspection fee,
inspection fees.
$7. Now, is that the attorney inspection fee?
No, that's city,
That's
that's
separate?
either the city employee, it says, above an inspection fee of $7 per hour, city employee engaged in record searching and supervision shall be charged provided, however, that a minimum charge of $7. So I think
That's
that's,
like for
I think that's
extensive
both,
research, I think.
let me see.
Like, usually I can just make copies of whatever's in the office. I don't think I can charge for
And
that.
you can prepay of
Like
an
just-
inspection and copying
Well, we've
fee
already had someone
required,
request.
whatever
which was
is an
extensive
estimate
research,
not
so
to exceed
That's what I'm
20.
wondering.
Well, these are just for records that aren't in my office. That's extensive research. That's what he told me.
Okay, so what does it say for the attorney? There's an attorney fee on there.
No.
I
I'll have to
don't,
look in my email then, because I got one with an
because I was
attorney.
gonna say, I don't think we have
No, 'cause
one
you
in
can't charge
this.
for attorney fees. We asked about that. That's excessive, they say.
Including staff
Interesting.
time, it just costs, because I'm reading it off of what we
Because I thought
actually
that was what the
ordinance.
inspection fee was.
No.
Records introduced, Photocopies cannot be produced by the city photocopy machine. Subject to.
Yeah, right here, it says if it's readily available, there is no inspection fee required.
Well, that's because it's at your fingertips.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah,
having to
makes
look it
sense,
up.
yeah.
I mean, that's like I'm doing right now.
Right.
I mean, I've got it right here at my fingertips, so there's not a. No, there's nothing in there that says anything about training fees. Let me look on our counselor just to see if, make sure. there's
$6 every 15 minutes needed for staff to find record request.
Where's that at? That's not our ordinance, though.
Under this ordinance.
nothing.
This isn't an email.
Joe, what do you have to say? You're being so quiet over there.
Oh, I'm just reading.
Okay, well,
So
Just-
far, I don't have really anything that I see that doesn't apply to us other than what we've already spoke of.
And he doesn't have anything in his ordinance either, so.
What's the actual ordinance? Look at, do you have a copy of this ordinance?
yeah, I just had it a second ago. Right here. Nope. It's 16 here. It's not in the actual ordinance, but here you go. I gotta make you put white gloves on.
Something like that.
Shame. No, you want his fingerprints, for God's sakes. I think most of that's.
So then, the inspection fee would cover our city councilor, because he's a city employee, and it says of per city employee.
Well, I
So
don't
it
think,
covers
like,
both of you.
anything that we'd have to research wouldn't be an open record necessarily, because it has to be a record that you can produce. You don't have to, like, make a record to give it, like, if I don't have the record and it doesn't exist, I don't have to make it, just for the
Well, no,
request.
not for the request.
So that was what I would think he would have to do, unless it was readily available, so I don't understand how the inspection fee would ever apply, really. Because we really don't have that much to
No,
research,
but
we don't have that
we
many
got charged.
areas, you know?
We got charged when I had to contact him to ask him what documentation I was able to give you for a query request you already received. So we're paying for that. So for us not to charge that person that requested that, that's wrong.
Well, Gabby, you can't. You cannot do that. You cannot
But it's an
record.
inspection fee,
It's not.
and it's in
though.
our records.
It's not.
How is it not?
Because then you don't give them their record. I mean.
We gave them the records, and I
it's
had to
just-
call an
it's-
attorney to ask them what records they could
Because
receive.
we'd asked him about this, because I asked the same question. I said, can I charge them your hourly rate? And he said,
No, not an hourly rate, but a reasonable fee. It's right in his recommendations, and it's in our ordinance.
I don't know. I'd have to ask.
That'll be a question I'll ask him again.
Yeah, I'd just get a clarification.
Yeah, I just want a
on it.
clarification, because that's what the whole
Yeah.
thing was.
Well, the clarification really needs to be what would you
Consider the reasonable fee.
Well, or a reasonable inspection.
Yeah.
What
To
falls
have
under
an
inspection?
inspection fee, you know. a reasonable.
I mean, you have to tell them before you call the attorney because they might not want to take on any inspection
Exactly.
fees.
But that's why we should have a clarification from him.
Well, that's why any records that
as
are
what
requested
are-
by ordinance, they need to understand that they're going to be charged a fee prior to, so.
But we can't always do that. It has to be a minimum of 20, like, if it's under $20, we don't. But we can't just call the attorney whenever
But
we
if
No,
want
it
it's,
to.
but
says
if
if
it's
it
25
exceeds-
cents,
if
you,
it
in your
ex-
ordinance, it says 25 cents.
50 cents.
50 cents.
Yeah, you have to give them, you have to.
So they have
charge
to
them.
know that before. They're not gonna request records if they know, if they're gonna have to pay. You might not want those records. You might say, oh, well, if it's gonna charge you this, I'm not
Or
gonna
you
charge
could
you
They'll
that.
put
say
it in
how many-
electronic form, and then I have to give it to them for free.
Okay.
In electronic.
Well, but if you have it like on the website and they can pull it up.
Yeah,
and-
of course.
and
Yeah,
print it,
yeah, of course,
Then
of
it
course.
isn't a charge to us,
Yeah.
no, at all.
Yeah,
But if we are printing it,
Then it's
then
a
it's a
yeah.
charge.
Yeah.
So.
And hopefully everything
So
will be
say I
online
don't
soon,
have a
you know?
printer or I don't have a computer
I think
and I
that's
come
all
to you.
spelled out in the code book.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So you would, in that case, I mean, you'd have to charge me because I'm coming to you, just like when I go to the library. I mean, I have to pay.
I think like
to copy.
in my opinion, I think the inspection fee was like for a bigger place that they actually have to go to a different building and like there's walls of records and they're having to get them out of there. You know, that would be what
Well, I would think that, like, if he was gonna have to do, per se, legal research to that, that's inspecting, that's looking, that's digging.
contact and delete.
So
contact and
that
delete.
would be, yeah, there would be, but again, that would be a personal person given that request. And in light of that, once we get the clarification on how he wants that done, we need to be sure though that we always tell them, okay, this is going to be a charge because we can't just pull it
Right.
up and hand it to you.
it's not just readily available.
Right. So, I mean, that would just be our part in being fair with the public. And I didn't, do we have anything that would apply to this investments and public funds? That that Article 7? I really I put a big question mark on there because I really.
Nicole's doing all of that already.
Okay. So, I mean, I'm just not seeing that we have, per se, as a city, we don't have any investments.
We don't
in
own any
anything.
securities, right?
We
No.
have CDs.
Well, we have CDs, but that's,
but we haven't like
but we're not investing them into a investment.
yeah.
That's
No.
what
like
I'm
it-
saying.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think that section basically applies to us at all. I think we can safely.
Well, we do have to designate the bank and all that stuff. We do have to do that. The active funds.
Oh, the,
yeah.
I got you, where we do bank. But as far as then on page 33, where investments and idle funds, we don't really have any of that. We just would
Yes,
clarify.
but hopefully we will. Like, I did find out the interest rate. The change of the interest rate
How much was it?
It went from 0.01 to 0.75.
That's nice.
When we changed that cemetery account, I haven't told you this, which I know that now we shouldn't have, but I know why it happened. It happened for a reason. Because when I got the statement, I looked and we made $20 interest off of 1 month of having that $32,000 in that other account. So I looked and I was like, wait a minute, this is the first one, the first farmers is a now account. This one was a public funds now account. So I went to the bank on Friday and I said, you know, what's the difference here? Because I noticed that the interest is, I mean, we usually just get what, $6 a month. And she said, oh, well, that's because your checking account's so old. This has been a new thing since 30 years. And I said, well, can we switch it to that? And she said, well, sure. So now our regular checking account is earning that much interest.
Oh, so now what is it earning now?
0.75.
0.75.
And it was 0.01 before.
Yeah, I knew it because
Yeah, because it was nothing. I
Yeah.
mean,
Did
but
you say you
I bet
made
it's
$3 in like 6 months?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I bet it's going to be $50 a month
Yeah.
on that money.
Well, and that's just upgrading in banking.
Right.
I mean,
mean,
that
she-
wasn't
I
our
didn't even-
part.
I didn't even need I didn't need
I
a
mean-
signature or anything. I said, well, why wasn't it done like that? She goes, well, you have to come to us and know there's those available, you know? 'Cause I was
they're
like,
not
why
just
didn't
gonna
they
give it to
I
you?
thought maybe they would just do an audit and say, oh, these people need this different account, but no, they don't do that.
Or
I
it
guess.
looks like,
they lose money.
well, you know, the thing of it is, I understand to a point that, but I also feel like
They
if
should.
there's an upgrade in banking, period, you may want to come in, just an overall spectrum
Right.
of saying on maybe your statement, you may want to check into
When
your
they do get
CDs
new
and your
accounts,
things.
say, yeah, we
Yeah.
have this account available for you guys now if you want to just,
Yeah.
that'd be nice, but no, they
But,
don't.
I mean, even if they didn't do that, just say we have some new accounts you might want to ask about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I'm so
might
glad
have-
that I saw that.
Yeah.
Because that is a lot of money.
Well, yeah, that adds up. So,
I think it's more than our CDs earn.
I think you could leave Article 7. We're not in conflict with any of it, and it may apply in the future, and
Right.
the last item, city clerk shall deposit the interest earned on invested idle funds to the general fund
Yep, and
unless
that's what I do.
otherwise required and authorized by law. And
Yeah.
that's it.
yeah, there's some things in there, but.
So that's not bothering anybody, so.
No. And then, basically, this animal control thing, we don't have any way to do 99.9% of this.
Yeah, because we don't have a
We do not.
pound or whatever.
Well,
Don't have
and
a
even
dog
our
catcher.
county does not have, we do not have a shelter in our county. We do not have any, in fact, Ward's statement was, when we had a little dog issue here a few years back, was, if he is ferocious and attacking, I can shoot him. But
You know,
other than that, I
I
can't do
have read
anything.
in
on
our
that.
minutes that we had a stun gun at one point here.
Oh, yeah, well, I remember when John Zeller shot
Yeah.
that
Oh,
dog
you
up
mean
there
like,
on
John
Main
Zeller had it. He
Street.
did
You're
not
talking about
like
a taser?
Yep.
Not taser, but a blow dart gun?
I don't know what.
A
How it was.
tranquilizer.
There we
Yeah,
go.
because that's what he
Yeah.
did. Because that's what he did with Dennis Elias's dog. Shot his dog and
Wow.
took it to the pound.
You're
Yep.
kidding me. Well,
Yep.
what is that thing?
Yeah, John John hates dogs.
He
So,
does.
He hates dogs, yeah. He likes cats, but he doesn't like dogs.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, no wonder why him and I get along so well. I like dogs. I like them, but I just like them away from me.
Away from me. I like him, I'm old and decrepit.
So your
But where
question,
is
Joe?
it though? Because we might need that sometime.
I don't know what happened to it.
We might
It's
need to have eyes on
To
it.
be honest with you, John probably purchased it himself and it's probably at his house. But that 102, that doesn't have anything to us. 103 really isn't anything. 104, that could be controlled by the city marshal. I mean, we could use the marshal instead of an animal control officer, I wrote on there. But we really don't have, basically it's him just telling the people probably, and by ordinance, he does have that right anyway, so. And 05 really would not pertain to us. 06, really clear down
It's illegal
to.
to trap animals?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
so,
Awful. Yeah, so when Roger was
so
trapping
yeah,
wild
humane
cats,
live animal trap.
Yeah.
So,
he was
Cage
sneaky.
trap.
so you don't want anybody using leg traps in town.
Yeah, I don't
Right.
want that. That's,
Yeah, that could be dangerous.
yeah.
The only thing is if you have a humane animal live trap, you have an issue as of right now. Who are you going to get to go and haul off Carolyn Thompson's skunks? Who are you going to get to haul off her armadillos that are currently tearing her
I
yard
think we have to
up?
have
We
a
don't
license
have
to do that.
we don't have
No,
anybody
I'm
to do
saying-
it.
I'm saying that, say I want to trap a skunk
Mm-hmm.
and relocate it.
Uh-huh.
I shouldn't use a trap that's going to injure the skunk.
Yeah.
Injure the
Oh
guy.
no,
You're
no,
just
no,
taking
no!
a
It's
live
one of those ones
trap.
that closes like that, easy.
Yeah, it's
That's
just
what she
about
uses.
A live trap.
one person. I mean, any person in town shouldn't use a trap that's going to injure the animal.
Right.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So if they want to live trap something and move it themselves,
That's
they
okay.
should be able to do that as long as they're
Yeah.
using
I
a
think they
humane
should.
trap.
Yeah.
I
They
think so,
should.
too.
Well, I did.
'Cause we don't have
I live
anybody.
trapped possums.
I tried to
Because
lasso
I had
my
a whole
own
family
cat.
behind my house, so I live trapped all of them
So-
and took them out in the country.
Well, they even
2103 could be handled by code enforcement or the sheriff or
Right.
marshal.
Yeah.
No 2102. We don't need that.
No.
Do we want to have this the regulations over here on page 4, like if they want to establish a kennel, like how many dogs should they
No,
have?
I think you might want to keep that.
Well, they're asking for a number here. Like how many, no more than how many dogs?
What's the state law?
Yeah.
4? I believe.
I was
I'm
gonna
not
say,
positive.
I think so.
I think it's
4 to 6 or something like that anyway. Because really, once you go past a certain point, you're really,
state
you
regulation.
got a kennel. You got a
Well,
kennel
yeah, and you're in
going.
state regulations.
Right. So, yeah,
But you also got to remember, it says
More
here
than
that
4,
therefore breeding, rearing, grooming, or boarding, otherwise harboring.
Because I don't want somebody to have like a bunch of dogs in town, like that's,
But are they breeding them?
even if they, I don't know.
But are they
well,
breeding them?
that's
There's not a
why-
minimum on the amount of dogs you can have in town.
There should be, I think. Because we don't want like somebody getting like an animal hoarding, something
no, I
going on
get
like
that. You just got to keep in fact if they're breeding them. Because it doesn't qualify as a kennel if they're not breeding them.
Well, and they can breed a dog and have it for up to, I think it's 6 weeks or something like that. And as long as they're dispersing them out, then they're not a per se kennel.
Yeah,
'cause
because it
most
says
people-
any establishment, commercial or otherwise, maintained for rearing a dog. That's not just breeding it,
What's the definition of rearing?
like raising.
raising.
So that makes sense.
So how, I think that, because we can't be less restrictive, so it has to be 4 or more, or less.
So here's my question. If you put a limit on the amount of animals they can have, how are you keeping track of that?
Well, without,
Without dog tags, how are you keeping track of that?
you can't.
You can't.
And on top of it, even that can be, I've known people that's got by with that.
Even the city of La Crosse has an animal list
Because
before.
they'll just go ahead and dog tag that amount and the others they don't. I mean, there's always people that's gonna try to
Right.
get around things, no matter how we look at it.
I don't think we have much of a problem with
But
it.
I don't,
Yeah, I don't, I just worry about it becoming.
The only thing that we ever
And,
really had a problem with was,
Nuisance, the nuisance
care of
ordinance
that?
covers it pretty
Okay.
much.
right, I think so too. And really,
So we don't need any of this stuff?
Well, these aren't even regulations. These are just
No, these
definitions of what
Yeah.
they
is
mean.
going on, or what
Well,
it
this
is.
just had a black box here, and so it needs a number there. That's why I said that.
Well, I
does or it
would
doesn't?
say,
It does, that's why I think they
See,
blacked
like
out so you
this
can
where
write
it
your own
says-
number.
No, I said it does or it doesn't.
Oh.
You don't have to put a black box there. You don't have to put
Oh,
anything
okay.
in there.
because I think the actual ordinance we have on animals, I think would probably pretty well cover.
I mean, you can't already have hooked animals in town near a sewer line, so
No.
that covers
No, you can't have
horses,
horses or dog, or,
goats,
You
pigs.
can't have horses?
nope, not over.
Not by a sewer
Not
line.
over
So what
a
about when the
city's-
rodeo comes here?
Cause there's no sewer lines there.
Oh, there
'Cause-
isn't, because the bathrooms are there.
They come in off the street,
Oh,
straight
okay.
in. They're not
And the
under,
horses-
they're not where the animals themselves are. And the reason I do know that is when John was the mayor, Nicole was still here. And she wanted to put her horses out there next to the or the rodeo grounds. And John went in and got the ordinance and he says, as long as it's not over, and he says, and I know because I put them in, he says, there's no.
And she had her
water
horses
lines.
out there.
So she did
on
have her
Fletcher's
horses.
property for a while.
Yeah.
And I had our horses over on the property of the football field.
Right,
Because
'cause
it's
there's
not a
nothing
sewer
in-
lines.
No, there's no water.
And if the
so-
water line breaks, it's not an issue because you pay for that break. So when the water line did break to the actual hydrant, we paid to have it replaced.
Right. And besides, that line doesn't go under that grounds.
No.
They don't go under there, they go out and around. So again, it's not over anything, no.
Breaking pound doesn't apply.
What about kennel licenses?
We don't have dog tags.
Okay.
Kennel license would only apply if it was by the state. It would be state regulated.
Right.
Because you can call, if you believe that there's an issue, like Grayson did with my father, who had a kennel license, Grayson down here, he
Yeah.
contacted the state to tell them that my dad had a dog kennel. My dad was already registered with the state. That's his number one problem. Number two, he didn't realize that he was outside the city limits. So it wouldn't have applied to him anyways. And when the state lady came out and did her inspection and everything, he passed anyways, so it didn't matter at that point. The state takes care of those kennels on their own. I mean, Shelley Kirshner has had issues with her
I
You
know
know,
that.
deals, so. So I'm gonna put on here live traps allowed for.
It's on there, actually, did read that later.
Well, just say animal traps, I just didn't know. Does it
It
say
says-
for
it says.
removing?
Hold on. What is it? Right here.
What page?
Wait, hold on.
Are you raising penguins in here?
What?
So are you raising penguins in this building?
No, we got the gas bill and it was $500, and so, yes, we're gonna start wearing coats in here, because,
We need a space heater then.
because that's ridiculous. Well, I got that one in the office, I can bring it in here, because, yeah, $500 for gas bill, so everybody watch their thermostats, because
Well, we'll need a
I got
toilet
a stroke.
for tomorrow.
Well, my gas bill went up $20.
$20, I mean, I didn't realize it would be that noticeable.
I knew
I
they
thought
was
it would
gonna,
just be
they
like-
kept saying I
They
kept getting
did, but I
emails
didn't-
that they was gonna raise.
I just didn't think it would be even noticeable, but it was definitely
Well,
noticeable.
see,
Well,
but the electricity company did an entirely different thing. They went and used their COVA money and then got some kind of a grant to go along with it, so all we was raised was like $1.50.
Yeah, that's what I thought the gas company would
But
be
the
like.
gas company did not do that, and now
Yeah.
it's over, and then that's why we
It's,
got.
yeah, it's
we
definitely
got killed.
noticeable.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
gonna strike this whole, animal control article. Is that right?
I don't see, I think we have a ordinance that would back
Right
what
here.
we definitely, I mean, I think we do. I don't know how you guys feel,
Well,
but
that's the other thing we gotta keep in mind is our ordinances are already passed and legal. We need to be able to see what those are and what they cover in these definitions, because this is standard. This doesn't have anything to do with what we,
look
It
at
does have
that.
that on here in this.
since this
right
doesn't
here.
have anything to do with what we already have.
Okay, right here.
because we don't have, there's just certain things that we're not gonna be able to comply with, and it's like, because we don't have access to it to begin with. Because, okay,
Okay, here's ours.
okay.
These are what's all in here. And if they're ours, like, or if they're repealed, they've got all those listed. Like our ordinances, our actual ordinances. And if they've been replaced with anything, it's all on here.
So those replace what's already in here, is what you're saying?
Well, this is just, hold on, let me read. Okay. It's a disposition list. The list contains information regarding ordinance, resolution, and miscellaneous material sent to them. So it would
Okay.
be our stuff.
Okay.
If an ordinance, resolution, or the like is not listed here, they have not received it. If certain applicable material exists that is not listed here, please send the material along with the responses to the legal and/or editorial report, and it will be included in the first edition. Please note, material previously codified, if applicable, is not included. That's why.
Yeah,
Our
that's what
stuff,
I'm
none of
saying.
our stuff
stuff
are
is
there.
in here. Yeah, this is just standards.
Yeah.
Right.
We just needed what we are gonna add to that.
But when I'm with Joe to strike the thing
So-
and use what we have.
Yeah, so all the stuff that's submitted to them, we still have here somewhere also, right?
Oh,
Right,
yeah,
oh, yes.
And
She-
where's that?
in the safe.
So,
Maybe we should break out a copy of that.
It's not just a copy, it's
it's books.
it's books and books, yeah, and they're not organized, they got really disorganized at one point, and I'm hoping that they still have the copies, the code codifying place, like, that they have the organized copies.
Well, they should still have
So
them.
it should be on there.
Chris has an
right?
electronic copy of the whole things.
Of all of our ordinances?
Yes, yes,
Well,
and they're on the
I've
portal.
seen one. They are? Where?
He uploaded them to the portal so that we could organize them ourselves.
No, we did never do that. I asked him to
You
do
you
that.
never organized them?
No, he never sent them to me. All I got was the ones that Norma gave me.
The one copy, though, he organized, he got a copy from, the guy screwed up.
I sent
That
him
did
all
these.
of ours.
The guy that did the publishing for American Legal Publishing, he screwed up and sent them a copy of everything that we sent him that was already digital copy. So he has a copy of all the.
Yeah, and he was gonna email it to me, or not email, but mail it to me on
Sent on the-
zip, on
on a
thumb
zip drive.
drives. We never did.
Okay, well, they just reiterated to him.
Okay.
I said trials since then.
Yeah, he never, yeah, because he said that we have a limit on the portal, how much, like, there's
Stuff
a,
you can have.
yeah.
We should be able to put that on our computers.
We should,
right?
I'm gonna put it on the
So that it's-
website.
So that it's easy for us to zoom through it and look at it.
Right. I'd like to do
Well,
that
that's
with
another thing,
everything.
if
In the
we're gonna
meantime.
if we're gonna do that towards a digital copy, then we would really
Well-
need to get a,
Well, we have, that. I
Cloud.
think that we ordered that.
Well, we're gonna get them
cloud?
on CD
No,
eventually,
digital copy. Yeah, the
But-
CD-ROM.
but if we've got it now on a thumb drive, it might help us to,
Yeah, I've got
Those
some
are-
of, like,
Yeah.
Norma gave me some of them. I don't think there's, it went up to 1996, right?
Well,
What
it was
you
up
gave
to
me?
what we had, what we needed to add in, the newer.
No, you
new
couldn't find that zip, you couldn't find the thumb drive for the newest ones, but I had copies of those.
ones. Yeah,
But I think it was from the beginning to
Yeah, it was
1996.
96
I got
was,
it on
yeah.
a thumb drive. But you know, in 2006, the league actually got all of our ordinances and organized them. I just don't know where that is. Like, because I would think there'd be a copy. They'd made a copy of it. I mean, I don't know. I think it would have come in a book, but I haven't seen it anywhere. And that was back
call them and ask them
20
if they
years
send
ago.
it to you again. Oh, it was that long ago?
It was 20 years ago, yeah.
They're not gonna have. They won't know where that is. Or maybe they will, I don't know, you could ask them.
It's really 2006, like almost been 20 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
yeah. That doesn't seem possible, does
It
it?
does not.
Because that just seems like, I want to say, the other day.
Okay, then, the next article about dogs. We probably don't need to worry about either. Because we're not tagging them,
No.
we're not issuing fines,
you know, there's no place to keep them.
we have no place to keep them, so we have no worry
And I don't
about
want to water and
disposition
clean
of
up after
dogs.
them. I'm sorry.
I don't either.
So I'm
I don't
out.
think we've got any elephants or
Exotic
Hippopotamus.
animals, I don't think we have to worry much about.
they
Of
consider us.
course,
Well, exotic animals really under, you could call this, if somebody had something, you could literally call the state.
you
and they
know,
would
if
have
somebody
to.
has puff adders and gaboon vipers in town, that's probably not a good idea.
Yeah. We do have bobcats and stuff that does walk through once in a while.
So you could probably,
Catch them and send them out. Like you
They're
said.
wild, but
Yeah.
coyotes and bobcats and mountain lions.
so, yeah, the thing about exotic animals should probably stay.
Well, we've got that in our ordinance, I believe.
Yeah, it's in there.
It's
'cause
in our,
under
yeah,
lions
it's
and
under,
I think it's in
there's a
that
long
ordinance.
list of
So we
things we
could
can't
skip
Yeah.
have.
that one.
So I
Yeah.
don't think any of that with,
Yeah, there's a long list of
Animal.
things like, that we can't have, like monkeys, and I wish that we could have monkeys. I would like to have a monkey.
Get your monkey.
They're,
We can't have
Get
one in town.
people think they would like
Get
a
an
monkey,
exception.
but
yeah, they're mean.
once they get a monkey.
They do, my grandparents had a
They're
monkey
mean
and it did
and
get
they're
mean.
dirty. Very, very mean and very, very dirty. Well, remember on Friends when they had that
Yeah.
monkey on there? But they
Marcel.
said behind the scenes, they said that was horrible. That
Really?
They had a terrible time with that.
And I'm sure my monkey would misbehave, I'm sure.
No, I'm sure mine would.
So, do we have ordinances, I assume, that handle liquors and,
Well, actually, the only thing that we've ever per se done, other than when we've had a liquor store or Charlie's buys their beer license every year, is the temporary license that goes to the rodeo every year. And other than
I
that,
do think that we need to put something in here about the amounts, because I do think we need to go up on the amount for the cereal malt beverage license.
How much is it?
$25, and I think that, and I pay that directly to the state, and that could be a source of revenue for us if we charge a little bit more, because then we get to keep whatever was over $25.
How much does the state pay?
What do you mean?
Or how much does the state get?
that $25, it's a $25.
It's a
We
$25.
just write it and.
Oh, so it's just straight across?
It's just
Yes.
a,
We're just signing something to say
Yes.
they
Right.
can have it.
they
I think
pay
that it
us,
should
we
go
pay
up.
them.
I mean, they're making money off of the liquor that they sell, so I think that we should be able to make something up once a year.
And we do all the administration, so.
Right, and I mean, we need the money. I think
What do
that-
we have to do?
They're usually $150, $125 to $150.
What do we have to do
Just
for
put
the
it in a,
administration?
just put it in the, oh, I have to mail it off, I have to fill out all the paperwork involved once a year.
So if you did a
So is-
$25, what's it cost them, or cost us $25 if maybe even if you did, I'm gonna say it doesn't take more than an hour, so maybe if you just did
I would
20
charge-
bucks above or 25, doubled it.
I'd charge them $100.
I was thinking $100. I mean, that's what everybody else is charging. I mean, it would be $75 we'd make.
Who's everybody else?
Like, the city clerks they just recently had this question on my listserv, that's why I know what other towns are charging, as I looked.
I just think though, we only have 2 places that ever does. It's not like we have a big run on it. It's not gonna create us a lot of money or revenue. We only have the rodeo that does it once a year, and we have Charlie's that does it once a year.
I would charge locals $50 and I'd charge any event $100.
Like a temporary, like an event one? I mean, because we need to start
Yeah.
making money off that rodeo. There's just no way that we
Well, yeah.
cannot.
Any other event too. I'd like to have events. And I wouldn't mind paying if I was gonna serve alcohol, and I don't know if I would ever want to, but if I ever did.
Like before when we had our haunted house at your school.
Yeah. Exactly. But well, I was thinking of like a little jazz festival or a bluegrass festival.
A
Not
bluegrass, that'd be fun.
jazz. And a person can make so much money on beer that
Yeah, they
$100
do.
is nothing.
Because I know at the rodeo last year, I volunteered and they were sold out of beer before the sun even went down.
Now, does that change and limit to your nonprofit organizations, since they would be under donations? Like where Debbie with the Pride Committee, when she had the actual active Pride Committee, she did at the school, and she had Gellas come in, and she did beer tasting, and they sold beer, and then that money went back into the
Did
community.
they have to get it?
And we
didn't-
reaped 100% of that profit.
I didn't
How
see a
does that-
license though
It's-
that we sold.
No, we didn't.
We
sell-
didn't, because it's not an
didn't.
event permit, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I have no idea.
What? What do you mean? What are you asking exactly?
As for an event permit, are we going to start charging the library an event permit? Are we going to start charging the Legion an event permit? Are we going to charge the golf course
No,
an event
But
I'm
permit?
he's
just
just
talking
talking
about-
about,
I'm just talking about
if
beer.
they
Well,
serve
but they can't, but I'm
alcohol.
saying, they could serve beer as a
Well,
donation basis.
The Legion has their own license.
Well, they're supposed to, they don't.
They don't have one.
They haven't had one since.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I
can't,
haven't
they got
sold
rid of
one.
it. They don't sell beer.
They
It's carrying only.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
They haven't
if
had
they
one
did get a
since
beer license, they'd get it through
97.
the Legion. So,
Yeah.
Oh, they don't get it through us?
no.
Oh.
No,
It's
they
a
have to get
national
it.
organization, and all the legions get their license through the Legion headquarters or something.
I think the last one
I
that's
didn't
hanging
know.
up there was in 1997 or something.
That was a good year.
So, yeah, anybody that sells beer at an event, I think we should charge them something for it. We're taking some risk. I mean, if there's disorderly conduct in town, we
Yeah,
have to
just,
have
or
cops
just
come out.
the nuisance of it even.
It's a nuisance. And so, and I don't think anybody would mind paying $100 for a beer license if they're having a decent sized event.
I don't
If
think
it's a
so.
card game, you
Yeah,
know,
that's-
they don't need a license anyway.
Right. If we could do that, that'd be even nicer though. Every card game, let's charge them a license.
You might be rich.
So
You'd never know about a card game.
So
All I'm saying.
I don't know. You might think about that. I don't think $100 is unreasonable for the rodeo, considering that they might
I
make
don't think so either.
they might make $50,000 on alcohol during that event.
They certainly could if they wouldn't run out.
And then for local guys, you know,
Like
maybe
Charlie's, I wouldn't charge that for.
Charge-
Because, you know, he doesn't even sell that much beer, I don't think.
charge
Oh, he
$50.
sells quite a bit of beer.
Really?
So
That's why he maintains it every year.
the net cost is $25.
Yeah.
If you add $25 to that for any administrative things, then
Yeah.
I think
that-
that's fair.
That is fair. I think so too. Where did I see that? Little blanks right here.
Definitions.
So where would you put that into? Restriction on location, is that where you would say?
I'm looking right now. I thought I saw it, that's why I thought I brought it up.
I thought so too.
Well, maybe I just, I don't know.
No, I
Probably
thought I
brought
seen
that
it too. 'Cause I had something.
It
I
might
thought.
not be in
Yep.
here.
I thought I wrote something. Maybe we dreamed it. Is it under
It's a
general 2010 license fees?
Ah, there, that is right, that's where I saw it.
So if we did general would be 50.
Where were you at?
Yeah, right on page 11.
Yeah. Page 11, number
No wonder,
1.
I'm like clear back, you guys are way ahead of me. Back here too. General retailer,
Yeah.
so would you say, that's where you're saying 50?
Page 4 too, there's a restriction on location that we might want to look at
Which one?
on page 4.
And that's where I was earlier, interested me to go 10.
Sorry.
You're okay.
Oh, the restriction, yeah, that they can't be within certain premises. Church, I think the state, when I looked that up, the state had, it was either 250 feet or 500. And I wrote 500, but I couldn't remember, because I
Okay.
couldn't remember.
Those are kind of incidental. It's distance.
But
And
there is
then
a state
where-
requirement.
Yeah, and then where zoning doesn't permit it, would be section C.
The only thing,
Uh,
oh, that's church.
3103A on page 5, top of page. That doesn't necessarily apply at the rodeo.
No, and I crossed that out.
Which one?
Oh, yeah, the
On page
21.
5 at the top,
Oh, minus on premises?
yeah, because there's minors all over the rodeo arena while they're drinking
Yep.
beer.
Well, and there really isn't any way to truly separate that, because that's
It's a family-friendly
It's a
event.
family event.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And
we
they
should
have the
just-
dance there,
that
so
should be struck
parents with
out.
kids, so yeah, I actually did mark that one out too.
Now, the rodeo grounds, is that property owned by the city or the rodeo?
The rodeo owns it.
Rodeo,
Okay,
that was owned by
I'm
Jack.
just curious.
The rodeo actually even owned the property where Roger Carroll built his property and then sold it.
Okay.
Yeah, they
To
sold
Roger.
that to him, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
It is cold in here. I will turn the heat up a little bit. I will loosen the purse strings a little tiny bit.
You're gonna have to, or I'm gonna have to leave. My RA is gonna set in and I will not be frozen.
It's supposed to be getting colder outside, but yes, that is.
Well,
Well,
once
you're
that
also gonna
settles-
realize that this building, if you go off utilities from previous years, this building was not utilized as much as we utilize it now. So
No, it
your
really wasn't.
utilities are gonna go up.
Well,
Yeah.
I just about had a stroke when I saw it. I'm gonna shut this door here because it doesn't matter, like, it doesn't make a difference.
But we'll have to make sure it's up tomorrow, because I'm not gonna listen to them tell me it's cold.
I will. We'll
Jan-
fix some blankets. Okay.
Whereas it says here on restriction of location, as far as like nursing home, library, hospital, church, school. The only one that I would say doesn't apply to us would be the library, because it's a city-owned property. However, under Kansas library law, if we wanted to do donation by wine tasting, we would need the regulation. That would need to be striked out if you're going to restrict it on the location. Because
Yeah, that's
you
why
can
I was
do,
asking, like,
yeah, you
the
can do it
shall
on the
not
library
apply
property,
to-
because
should
it
we
doesn't
put the
matter
library
whether
on
it's
there?
city property or not.
Should we put it
Because
on
it's-
library?
Should you put it on library?
Right here, should we put library on there?
No, I would cross library out.
Oh, I don't see, because it says no person shall drink or consume any alcoholic liquor on any city-owned public property, except for blank, which is property owned by the city. So, except for the library?
I would say the library would be out, because the library, under Kansas library law, we can have library
That's why-
events for
yeah, that's
wine
why-
tastings
that's
and
what it's
cheeses.
saying.
They could have that
The
at their
prohi-
Monday meeting.
The prohibition should not apply to the library.
Yeah, it should not apply for the
Yeah, so it
library.
would be. I don't know of any other city-owned.
Section C on page 5, I don't quite understand.
I think it's kind of like talking about like the rodeo, where they're gonna be in a family setting event, so there's gonna be people under 21 years of age.
So this section doesn't apply, so mine
Which
is on
C?
premises,
Okay.
doesn't apply. The last part of it is what I'm wondering about. If the license or permit
Derives
Premise drives
more than 30% of
not
its.
more than 30%.
I would say
So I
that it
think,
is.
So if they don't make over
I-
30%, then that,
I think you could eliminate the second section of C. So we don't care if they make 30% or more,
No,
do we?
well, no, I
The,
don't.
the
'cause
first
I wanna
part,
keep
this
'em
section
here.
shall not apply
Yeah.
if the person under the age of 21 is accompanied by his or her parent. That can stay.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, I don't think we need to worry
Yeah.
about.
Well, because we would have to know what their sales are.
Right, I don't
That
care what their
way-
sales
and
are, exactly.
That's,
You know, if we did have a restaurant or that was serving alcohol in town, we would want to know what their
yeah, that would be.
income is,
We
because
would want to
we
know
can
that,
actually,
yes.
we can tax them. What is our tax rate? Is
We don't have a
We don't
tax
have
rate
one
for
right
retail
now, but we
sales.
could get one.
we don't?
Nope. And I actually
I
talked
thought we
to,
had one for like 3% or something.
we don't have anything. Kim
There's
Peach,
nothing.
I talked to Kim Peach about it actually yesterday, and she informed me that it would be dumb of our town to put a retail sales tax in, because Midland doesn't make enough for us to even get anything on, because it would be for it would be for like dog food. And she said the amount of dog food and the stuff that they actually sell for Midland wouldn't make us anything, and all it would do is take Mitchell out of business.
yeah, and I agree with.
But that's just for Midland though. What about if we would get more like restaurants and stuff
Well,
in town?
Mitch could be
Well,
grandfathered in.
I was gonna,
If we have something in place like that, you know, if a restaurant
Does he sell
moves
dog
in,
food?
say a restaurant,
He does?
Did you sell what?
Dog food.
Dog food?
no, he says,
Oh.
but
Oh,
he
a restaurant's
says,
not gonna matter when Kansas takes away sales tax in 2025, and restaurants are included. How are you gonna make any money off of
I
them?
didn't think they were included.
They will be in 2025.
are you sure about
Are you
that?
sure about that?
That's what it's stated,
Huh.
On
I
the
thought it was
news.
just like groceries, like you,
because right now, restaurants are
Well,
included
because,
as of right now, but they're not supposed to be included in 2025.
because it's still a food
Because it's
tax.
gradually going down, because they're still taxing. But when it's a zero tax, they're supposed to not be included.
but they won't have to pay taxes, but they'll still have to have taxes paid to them. Like you still get taxed when you go to a restaurant, you have to pay tax for their services.
Well, your retail tax you'll have, but it won't be a food tax, is what I mean.
Okay.
Like,
And
That's
you're
what I'm,
right now
that's
you're
what I'm
charged
saying,
twice.
is a retail tax of 2 or 3%, if that was in place, any restaurant or other business that wanted to move into McCracken would know that up front. And if, say, a restaurant did open up, and then a year later you say, all right, we're gonna start a tax, you have to start paying 3% now, they have to cut that out of their accounting and start paying that tax. So if it was in place to begin with, everybody knows up front, and Mitch could be grandfathered in.
Right.
No, well, but how could you do that? Because he couldn't technically be grandfathered in because it has to go, any tax that we enforce on this town has to be approved and governed by the voters. They have to vote on it. We have to take it to election. So you're
Yeah.
either gonna get it or you're not gonna get it. So we couldn't grandfather Mitch in. Because if it directly affects everybody.
That's correct, because if it's an open voting on the ballot.
All or nothing.
You know, you'd be surprised at how many people don't mind paying the taxes when they get more services and stuff for
Oh, I do.
town, you know?
I do. Yes, I do.
Well, I'm just thinking that if-
I've been on the business owner side,
If we-
and I've been on the paying side. And I paid both
if we wanna
ways.
have businesses in town, and I think everybody would, it would be foolish not to make anything off of it.
Well, I think even Brownell has a retail tax.
Yeah.
We just
so-
need to look at what their retail tax level is and see, because there would honestly be somewhere similar to us.
I've got a tax rate book at.
What do they have at Brunel that would be?
Well, because remember they had that liquor store. And I believe Noel had to pay a retail tax when I worked at the post office.
Well, I have to pay a retail sales tax on our water.
So I think we should consider establishing that. And maybe Mitch, you know, if it's like everybody votes, like you said, if it's all or nothing, everybody votes, Mitch has to pay it.
Well, yeah, of course. I
Well,
mean, then it would, yeah.
of course it would be. I mean, we
And-
can't,
I'm not saying Mitch is our deciding factor. I'm just
No.
saying
No, I
we have to just
understand.
keep in mind that he's,
but right
he's our
now,
only local
he's
business.
our only local business, and to
Right.
put one in when he's the only local business, that's
Well,
kind of, to me,
I wanna make other local businesses
I have to
of
pay,
my
like,
own, and I don't mind paying the tax, and
I
I
have
would
to
like
pay
to
in sales
attract
tax
other
to the water,
businesses.
the commercial water that we sell, we pay in every month. I charge them sales tax.
For
That-
the, for
for
the,
water, for the city, yeah, only for
city?
commercial buildings though. Interesting, huh? Okay.
but nothing for residents?
Nope.
Maybe that's an ordinance?
That's just the way it was when we set it up when I started.
Yeah.
I never even asked.
well, and we'd only have there just Midland and him that would be a corporate.
Okay.
And I don't think he's,
Who?
Third class cities.
Mitch? No, he's not a corporation. He's commercial.
I don't think it's,
He would be under commercial because even my dad's restaurant was under commercial.
it should be.
Because in fact, when that became storage, we played heck like trying to get it switched back to residential.
Well, actually, why'd you have water?
No, I'm talking about for electricity and gas. Consider it
No.
commercial.
Oh, I was talking about our water. Yes.
Oh, no, sorry.
No.
I have a whole other.
Okay, this just tells you what people, this isn't what I thought it was. Guess
So
I never even opened it.
does this, I guess it's holding a license or permit for the. No, that would be just really.
That should be heated up, right, isn't it?
Do what?
That should heat up.
Oh, my fingers are getting a little better, Nicole.
All the rest of those provisions under the beverages thing, they should all stay in place unless we already have all this in the ordinance.
For,
I mean, it's all state law and everything anyway, but I think we should have, an ordinance of our own. But, you know,
well, the cereal malt beverage, that all goes by the ABC.
yeah, it's all state. And all this stuff's redundant as far as the state goes.
And they post the license, so that's all in there anyways.
So the only thing I think we ought to have as far as alcohol goes is that our fees, you know, plus, we should be able to say who can sell beer for what event. Like, we might not want a bite rally like the size of Sturgis. So we might deny them a liquor license and then they won't come here.
Exactly.
So I think we should have ultimate say over who gets an alcohol license at all times, and we do, I think, so. I don't know if,
It says right here, if the license shall be denied, the license fee shall be immediately returned to the person who has made the application, so.
Pretty much gives you an out right there. Because we vote on them. Because even when the rodeo comes in, we still have to bring it to the meeting and vote on
I
it.
don't know that I like this. The governing body will not consider any application for a new or renewed license that has not been submitted 10 days in advance and been reviewed by the above city departments, because if that's the case, then 3 days before the rodeo, when they submitted their license, it wouldn't have been approved. It
They
wouldn't
don't
have been
do
approved.
that. They did
Yeah.
it way before that.
Oh,
They did it
yeah.
months before.
We had it a whole month, when I was
In the-
on there, it was a month
Yeah, I did
before.
it
And
2 months before
when's
this year.
Mitch's due?
Yeah,
His is due, he already did it.
'Cause-
I know he
did
just
it.
did his, yeah.
It would have been in October,
his is always due in October, the
31st, I
30th.
think. Yeah.
10 days is probably, we gotta have some heads up.
Well, yeah, you have to heads up.
I mean, when
it says
Mitch's
will not
was
be
due, I
denied.
went to him and told him, you know, because I don't think he really knew.
Well, this year, there's a lot
Yeah,
of things.
yeah, there's
Poor
a,
Mitch has
yes,
not.
and so I went to him and told him, you know, this needs to be done before, and we got it all taken care of. So it
And
really,
Brenda always puts hers in.
hers, yeah, that was done
Yeah,
way ahead.
Yeah.
I remember that because it was done at least a month ahead.
Yeah. So the ones that we do have, we've never,
But I mean, in the future, I don't know how that
I
would
don't
work.
know how that'll work, but yeah, what we have now is not a,
Well, no, I was just saying the wording. It just says will not be considered.
yeah.
Any
Well, because
application.
I still have to take it before a meeting to have it
Yeah.
approved.
Yeah, it still has to go, so
Before,
they have
'cause we
to.
we approved.
Bottom line
Mitch's
is
in an
they
open
have to
meeting.
have it before the meeting, so.
Yeah, they have
Well,
to.
yeah.
That, so that does apply. Because it has to be approved before it can
So it has to be
issued.
like 30 days.
Yeah, I mean,
Basically.
basically, yeah.
Yeah, because then you gotta fill it out.
It might, that might be.
I mean, you can do it all online and print it right off, but it's
yeah, I mean, it didn't
still,
take very long. I mean,
but it still has to go through the
through a
council
meeting, yeah,
or the commissions
to be approved, be motioned and approved.
So even if they come to her the day of the meeting, it's still, that's really, she's just gonna put it on there and say, hey, we need to approve this. So that's still the, you know, basically,
So do we do what our ordinance says?
we don't really have an ordinance on it.
So
on the
we probably
alcohol.
should adopt some of this.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I
add
think
that-
instead of the 10 days, it should say that it has to be brought before a meeting.
I
Just
just didn't like the 10
stated
days.
it has to
I
be-
just think the way it says will not consider any application for renewal or new license that has not been submitted 10 days in advance. So if you're on your 11th day, that automatically throws you out, is what I'm
Yeah,
saying. I just
I don't
think it's
see that
kind of,
either.
Yeah,
I just think it's kind
What
You
of,
page
should
is
say
that
it
on?
it,
it has to be approved by the council.
it has to be approved by the.
In a
by
timely
the
manner.
commission,
A
before-
renewal, yeah, I mean, a renewal would have to be, but if you're a new business, I mean, that
You
wouldn't,
should say it should be submitted, say,
Well,
7 to 10
let me
days
ask
before a
this.
meeting.
I was gonna
Yeah, I
say,
mean, I like
let me
that,
ask
yeah.
this, we don't
So that it can be
vote
considered
on
by the council.
charters,
Right.
we never
yeah,
have,
we did
have
this
we?
year, uh-huh.
And then if a guy
We
is a
didn't
day
ever
late,
before, it's
you
never
know,
been
he
talked
can
about.
still be considered by
They
the
just did
council,
it.
we're just a day late, he's
Huh,
just a day
well,
late.
I
We have
put it
one
on
less
there
day to
'cause I
consider
saw
it,
that
which
we'd
we
done it for
probably
the
don't
rodeo
need
the year
anyways.
before.
Well, the
Christmas
rodeo,
year?
because it was a temporary license,
But yeah.
but
I
we
mean,
never
I just
did
didn't like
it
the
for
ordinance.
his, we just
No, I don't
automatically did
either.
it.
I did,
I agree.
Because
we
she'd
did
just
this
call
year.
up and say, Priscilla
Right.
would call up and say, our licenses, and they would just go ahead and issue it and be done. The renewals was never, and maybe that's why, 10 days before that expiration date, so that you
Yeah.
can get it, so whoever's doing it has time to get it in.
Well, yeah,
That
because
might
that might
be-
be a state thing, because I mean, I have to mail it off, I have to mail all the stuff off, I can't just do everything online, because they have to have the
You
stickers.
fill the reforms
Those-
out.
Yeah,
but-
those stickers
yeah.
and stuff have to be mailed in, so maybe that's why they have it like that, because it does take time and.
And
it
that's a
wouldn't be
renewal,
official.
it's not
Yeah, I mean,
like
this
the
town-
temporary, you just kind of do that online, don't you?
No, it's the
Does
same,
that
it's the
still
same
come
way,
in?
yeah, it's the exact same way as the regular one, it's just.
Just a
the different
date.
boxes checked,
Yeah.
yeah. But I still have to send it all off to the state, and then they don't send anything back to me.
But I was gonna say, if we put it on, this would be the first year I've ever known it to be put on. That's Charlie's.
Yeah, we did, I mean,
We
I
just
just thought I was
automatically
supposed to, so I
did
just did.
So, on page 6, 3107, all these things are covered by state law. So I don't think we need to talk about any of that in our own ordinance.
Right, that is all covered by state law.
didn't
Okay, so then
understand,
on the
yeah.
previous page, on page 5, we strike out A,
Okay. And the
and
bottom,
the
last part of
last
C.
sentence of C.
On page 8, you said?
Yes, 5.
And then like the very bottom, that's
Not always.
consumption while driving, that's a state.
That's a state law.
Right, we can strike that. And then on 4,
And which one are you on?
all those
On
are
page
basically
5?
definitions and location restrictions. And on 3, that's just definitions also. So we could go with this basically, and then add
Which one?
our requirements that, we add our requirement to have your applications in 7 to 10 days, or I don't know what you want to do, say 7 days before the next commission meeting.
Well, if it's on renewal, you'd have to have it 10 days before the commission meeting of their expiration date. Because like if their expiration date was October 30th, then they would have to have it in by September, say 15th or somewhere in that, so that
So
it would be on the
renewals.
agenda.
Renewals at deadline meeting, so before the meeting, before their, 10 days before the meeting closest to their expiration,
Right.
or before their expiration. And that would give us a pretty good basic
It says it
start.
right here. All applications for a new and renewed enhanced cereal malt beverage license shall be submitted to the city clerk 10 days in advance of the governing body meeting.
That's what it
Says
needs
it
to
right
be
there.
said, yeah. And what page is that on?
Page 9 at the top,
Okay,
the procedures.
right. Right, yeah, that would
So-
definitely.
Ooh, I didn't know I was supposed to
Okay, so
do
under
that.
Right,
three
city
dash
clerk shall
one oh
notify the
four,
applicant.
consumption on public property, No person shall drink or consume alcohol, liquor, or on city-owned public property. However, this prohibition shall not apply to, is that where we would put street dances? Because in the past, we've had street dances. How do you block off a street in order to, because wouldn't that limit that?
You could
Maybe
say,
that's why they moved it to the park.
you
They
could say
didn't move it to the
permitted
park.
events.
They did too.
The last street dance that was done was when my
Yeah.
dad had street dances
Yeah,
and
it
blocked
was.
off the properties.
I was there.
They did the
So
last year.
it was, well, it was sold out of it. It was
I
sold out of
hadn't
the
moved down here yet, and they had done, that was
That was the
the year
last street
before.
dance.
That was the
They
last.
moved. They moved the
They moved
DJ.
into-
They had a DJ up here, and the reason they did that is because he was making money and they were not. Then he stopped doing it
I
because of all
remember
the
one
licenses
year
he had
we
to
went,
get.
there was a band at the park. I know there was, because I remember
probably
it.
was
There
a band.
there
Oh, that
mosquitoes.
that was a different thing though. That wasn't the rodeo. That-
Really?
Yeah, that was a different,
Huh.
I was thinking that was something else.
I thought it was the rodeo.
You know, you might have been right. There was one year that they did try
Uh-huh,
that.
it did
Yes,
not
they
go over
did
well. It was
because,
so dark.
well, it was not only
lighting.
that, but they didn't have no beer sales
That's right, they didn't sell beer that
because
night.
they couldn't sell
Because they
it.
couldn't on the city property.
It was city park, so they
Right.
could not do it. They carried it on, but they couldn't sell it.
Yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
drank beer that night.
Well,
That's
we
right.
should have a provision to by vote of the.
Maybe we should put the city park
commission.
on that, like,
Well, we should have if the whole commission unanimously votes to allow someone to sell beer at a street dance, we should have that option
yeah,
for that specific time and date.
like a temporary, yeah.
It's a
like
Well, it'd be a
temporary permit.
temporary,
It's an
it'd
event
still be
permit.
a,
Event permit, yeah, temporary event permit or something like that.
well,
But
if
like,
you're
what if they
selling,
want
Why
but
should
you
we-
still,
why should
even
we
if you
close the
sell,
door
you
on our
still
own
have
face,
to,
you know?
you still
Yeah, I
have
mean-
to do a temporary alcohol.
Yeah.
No matter whether it's a
Um,
street dance or
But
anything
here where I put the
else.
library, should I put the city park too? That we would allow it on the city park?
I'm kind of, I don't know.
Because we do, I mean.
I
they don't
really
sell
kinda
it though on
hate
4th
to
of
do
July, I
city
guess.
park.
I feel like the city park wouldn't matter if there was. There may already be a state statute that changes
that's
that.
kind of what I'm thinking
Okay.
too. I'm thinking city property, you have to, there is
only
really some
s-
state statutes on it.
The only city property I'm talking about is necessarily the street property. Because the city of Roselle makes a buttload of money every year
Yeah, we
on a
should be able to
band
do
in a
that.
street park.
Well, so, I mean,
Absolutely.
Hayes does on the Wild West Festival, they sell at the beer garden.
Yeah, you have to be able to do that.
But they do a contained area.
Yeah, that's true.
They
Yeah, I mean,
always
it's-
do a
you know,
contained
it's-
area, just like.
Blocked off with cattle panels usually at
Yeah.
Roselle.
Well, and just like you have at the fair, they still have a beer garden, and it has to maintain and
Maybe
stay
that's why
in
they
that.
do it that way.
And that probably is, because you do have to do some kind of a containment. I think you'd want to check in to see if there's some state regulations on that.
Which I'm
Well, there
sure-
is right here, KSA 41-7119.
Where are you?
It says right here, consumption of public property. Oh, sorry, 5.
I was
Middle of the
gonna say,
page.
yeah, what page?
3-104.
I was gonna
I
say
mean, there's a
that.
state statute right
Okay,
here.
I see it right here.
Okay.
So we could look at that. You got your computer, you could look at
She's
the
looking at it.
Oh, I forgot she's got hers.
Mine is just doing the meeting, like recording the meeting.
Oh,
And yeah, it does go over the screen on the recording, I found out.
oh, it does.
When I switched the mode of, yeah, I did find that out.
So-
It goes over the screen.
All these points that cover application, I think are things that we should do. If we have people applying for a beer license,
Wow, this is here, like, a person who is not of good character and reputation in the community, how could you judge that? What kind of,
I don't know.
that's up to us.
that's insane. I cannot believe
If all,
that.
if all three of us decide that this person's not in good character and they shouldn't have a beer license, then they shouldn't be issued a beer license.
Wow, that
That's-
surprises me. That really does.
That,
You know, because that would be like.
I wouldn't
Well,
agree with
just-
that. I don't think it's your place to judge.
Right, I cannot believe that. even
Well,
is allowed.
you
The
don't
only
want-
thing is
here
if you
it
have
says-
somebody with any types of criminal
If the,
activity.
That's
well, if the,
different,
but if,
yeah.
but if the state's gonna issue them a license to sell beer, why would we as a local government not?
Well, I
Wouldn't,
don't
surely
know,
they
but-
do a background check when they do for the state.
I don't know.
I don't
I
think
don't know if they
necessarily.
do.
I don't know if
think
they
they're
do or not. I'm
relying
just
on
saying.
us to make that
That
judgment.
just surprises me that they would allow us to judge that.
We need to learn a little bit more about this, how the state actually does that.
Okay, I will.
Because the
I'll do
application's
that.
made to the state, but when it comes down to it, it's our city.
Right,
And if we don't want a bunch of drunken, disorderly buffoons
tearing everything up, right?
Well, yeah, that I
things up,
understand.
and
Throwing
if we-
beer cans on people's yards all the
if we-
time and stuff.
If we know that that's what they normally do, then we should reserve the right to say, no, you're not doing that here. You did it there, you did it there, and you did it there, you're not doing it here.
See, that, yeah, I mean, I just can't believe that we would be allowed to make that judgment call.
Well, we are.
'Cause there's a
The
lot of
state-
places that
the
are
state-
people that-
The state will give us that, they give everybody that.
Wow, that
Where'd
surprises
you
me.
read that at?
On page 10, C at the top.
I mean, the state has the power to deny, but they also give that power to
It also comes through the governing bodies,
those
the
governing
local
bodies, exactly.
governing body.
So, yeah, I say, we all take the time to learn a little bit more
Okay.
ABC.
I do too, and if Sheriff Larry was alive, he used to work for ABC, I could find out anything. Don't have that option.
Bill, the state's happy to give you any kind of ABC
Oh, yeah.
information that you ask for, so.
And believe me, you
And there's-
really want
there's-
to control
it's
it
on the
at the
websites.
at the lowest level, and the reason I'm saying that is because if you're relying on the state to do it, it's just like the guy that was doing illegal crap that was right beside a salon I worked at in Topeka. Took 21 years to get him out. So, I mean, it's not no fast process. Yeah, you know.
I know that, like, my clerk's listserv, that they run all those, I know that for a fact that they run all those background checks through the city clerk's office now, because they have to have the thing with the KBI to where they can do that. So, yeah, it is run at the local level, background checks. I do know that, but yeah, I can look into that more.
Don't get me wrong, I wanna sell beer licenses and I want people to be able to consume beer at events. You know,
But we really don't
we
want to create other problems.
Right, we don't have much trouble with the rodeo. And
No,
they
No, because they
cons-
keep it
And
pretty
they consume a
tight.
lot of beer.
Yeah, they
Yes,
do.
they do.
Well,
And so,
my only thing is a person who is not of good character. What makes you a person of good character, and what reputation would follow that is my question. I just want to know in a clarification,
I
because
think-
just because I don't like you and I'm on the council,
Right. No,
says
that's
I
not
could
a
say,
reason.
no, I don't like you, I'm on the council, I don't think you're of good character, I don't like your reputation, I don't like the things you've done in the past, so no, I'm denying. That's
just-
where I think at
Some
the
of the
local
best
level.
people I
it
know
needs
have
to
bad
be.
reputations. to be
That's what I'm
honest with you.
saying. I mean,
Well, and a reputation.
yeah,
There's,
but what about your moral turpitude?
That's my own
I
business.
just feel like that's a loaded,
Yeah.
I think it just sets us up for failure.
You know, we could simplify that a little bit and say, you know, if you've been convicted of a felony in the last 2 years, or if you've been convicted of a drunk driving thing in the last
Right.
2 years.
Or
well, there's some
disorderly.
basic things that you could do that
Yeah,
would be,
I mean, character, like you said,
Not
a
just-
little vague.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
just
feel like
because
it's
it's so
vague.
wide open and
Because-
so judgy for
Well,
around here.
well, it kind of is because,
well, they're all alcoholics around here to
because if
some
you
degree.
recall, if you recall, we weren't gonna put people in city clerk or city
Yes.
treasurers because we didn't believe they were of good character or good standing. But then we got to determine what that good standing is, but when asked that question, nobody could explain what that good standing was. The only thing they could say was, well, do you pay your taxes? Do you do this? Do you do that? Do you do that? That's just being judgy. I'm sorry. That has nothing to do with whether or not you should be a city clerk or not. Because if that's the case, then at that point in time, we
No,
wouldn't be a treasurer.
I think if I was looking at it, it would be more of the legalities to it, like I said, disorderly conduct, if you've been overly done in that, if there's certain
So I agree with Joe, it's
criterias.
vague.
Maybe there's some other examples
And there might be.
from other towns that we can look at that are a little bit more simplified.
Roselle has all their ordinances online. That's the only place I'm really aware, except for,
There's a
that's
list
in
of all
our
the different
area.
ones that have,
Hello?
yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
Okay, so let's study this one some more.
Yeah, I agree. Let's
Yeah, I
check
can do that.
So-
We can all do that. I guess.
Yeah,
we
we all
go-
need to do that.
And it's kind of an extensive thing anyway. So,
Special events cereal beverage. We were talking about that, and they got a section on it right here. But we can do all that the
then
next
we've
time.
got alcoholic liquor, which we don't sell any of. And
Well, to get into
so we'll learn
the,
more about that if we
that types of
study
stuff,
ABC a little bit more.
yeah.
Change
Drinking
of
establishments, we should study a little bit more, maybe. Caterers, I'd like to do some events this summer, so I'd like to look at this one a little bit.
Keg registration, what is that? I'm sorry, I'm still back behind you guys.
I feel like you don't have people that do keg parties and stuff like that anymore because of all the provisions the ABC puts on it
Yep.
for keg
Really?
registration anyways.
There really is a lot.
There's a
of
lot on them.
Caterers, this looks like this applies to caterers that are in McCracken, or that operate out of McCracken. Am I right about that?
I'm not
I
sure.
haven't-
Says
I
there
don't
is
think
hereby
I've looked
levied
at
an
that.
annual license fee in the amount of, so that's us licensing a caterer. So maybe this one does not apply.
Now, see, I think that would apply to like where I went over the weekend. I went to a wedding in,
Big Bend,
no,
Wichita.
where'd I go? I went to Wichita, but it was a little town, Cheney. And they had a caterer that did the whole meal. And it was in the White Barn. And they served alcoholic beverages. So you paid them, or the wedding party paid for the however many alcoholic beverages, and then they had to deduct it. So my guess is in a town that size, they probably had a permit like that, and that probably did apply. But here, I think the only catering we really have done is I've seen family reunions. If they have here, sometimes somebody will cater like from Nest City, or I've seen like they'll do catering as far as at the Legion. But I've never really seen an alcoholic beverage catering.
Yeah, I
I
haven't
know
either.
there are some, and I was thinking if I have any, like a bluegrass festival, instead of me getting a permit, I would have a caterer handle all the beer sales. But do they come with their own
Well, I
permit
think
from the
when
state?
Gallas
Well,
came,
Gallas
they
came,
came
they
under
did.
theirs.
They did
Yeah.
under theirs.
They have their own.
Gallas
So-
did. But we also sold beer on that property too, for a suggested donation. They charged for the beer because Gallas had their specialty beers, but then like
I
Debbie
didn't
still.
know we had anything else.
Yeah, Debbie still did her like Amberbach and different things because not everybody was going to drink oatmeal stout, you know. So she did the regular domestics. So
And I think any catering company that plans on selling beer, they have their own license.
Yeah, I'm
They
sure.
probably,
So,
most likely.
Does this article, is this about caterers that are based in McCracken?
I'm trying to find where you're at. What page is that on?
Well, this one states that like any person licensed by the state as a caterer
to sell alcohol.
to sell alcohol. So
So I would
I'm
say everybody,
assuming
in
that
and
would
out.
be an
Okay, so this
entity
requires
that,
them to buy a catering
from the
license from us.
state. No, I would say that if they're a regular catering
No, it says from the
group.
city clerk.
Yeah, I would agree with Joe. I think I think this would allow them to buy it from us, but I don't know that you're going to
know.
necessarily have anybody catering in and out. This might be something if you're
if you're-
going to make money off of, you're gonna make money off of
Yeah,
once in
if
a
I was
blue moon.
if I was gonna hire a caterer to serve food and beer at an event I'm having, I would have to make a deal between me and them, and probably what I would do is I'd say, hey, come on out. We need beer and food for the audience we're gonna attract. You keep the money. And that way we have the food and beer available.
But they're really paying,
They're
it's
really-
all on them.
It's all on them.
It's all on them. It's
So-
not anything that the city would make anything off of.
But maybe the city should. And
But
if-
there
if-
again, you're
if
gonna
I
have to
said-
know their
I said, hold on a
sales
minute, I gotta
if you're
call
doing-
Nicole, cause I gotta see what the city permit is for caterers.
Yeah,
I mean, it could be as low as $20.
Right. But it's something that we're covering, and in the future, we might go, no, it's $50.
well, and I think that helps us to be able to regulate who can do things like that too. Like if we don't want certain events to happen,
Yeah,
like MMA fighting or something like that, you know, then we can not sell them.
I think we're kind of limited on where we can have anything done, so I think we're pretty safe on what can be done.
Well, not only that, but, I mean,
I don't really think we're gonna look
this,
at,
this part of the catering doesn't qualify for food. This qualifies
This is
for
just
liquor,
for alcohol.
only alcohol.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, I
this-
don't
So it
know.
really
You have to
doesn't-
tell me what page you're on.
So it really does, well,
Yeah.
we're on
25.
25. So it doesn't really qualify for food, so if you look at McCracken as a hometown feel, you're gonna cater food. You're not catering alcohol.
yeah. And
Very often.
basically, they're gonna be in this
fact-
building,
Well, yeah, and
and
at the
there's no alcohol
school,
here anyway.
well, yeah, and at the school, and the only place they could be is at the Legion.
Well, yes, they could.
And they could
get
have
there.
alcohol down there. But if you looked at the school, the only event we've ever had in this town that I know that has had alcohol catered by an actual cater company
Was
was
when-
Gella's and during the Fall Fest.
Yeah, that is.
and this
the
is
one.
basically, you would, the way this is worded, the city would basically issue a 1-year state license. And so, maybe this,
I'm thinking that's
maybe we
more
don't
of a
need that.
catering, liquor catering company.
It is, it's for,
Alcohol only.
I can. Here we are. I just now found the page right now, you guys.
Because this wouldn't necessarily qualify for distributors, like where the beer trucks come in and drop off the liquor.
yeah, I don't think we need this.
I don't either.
So I would strike this whole thing. Article 6 is not necessary. Article 7, temporary permits. Okay, this is what we're talking about. It says, it shall be unlawful for any person granted a temporary permit by the state to sell or serve any alcoholic liquor within the city without first obtaining a local or city temporary permit from the city clerk. So this is what we were talking about. If somebody comes in, like Gella's, they have their state permit. If they want to come in here and cater an event and sell alcohol, they should have to buy a permit from us too.
Yeah, because it says upon
Or
presentation
they
of
should
the
at
state
least have to
temporary permit,
apply.
payment of the city's temporary permit fee, and a written application is as provided.
Right, so if we didn't have this, then somebody could throw a party, hire a caterer, come in and sell beer, and we don't have jack to say about it? I don't think so. We should be able to say, no, that ain't happening, or, yeah, it's happening, but if it gets rowdy and it gets out of control, we're gonna shut you down and send your caterer home.
Yeah, you can, like, certain hours, we can restrict the hours, so it's not
Right.
all night long.
Right, so, I think something like this should apply. They have to place their temporary receipt in plain sight, so everybody knows they've got a permit from McCracken and the state. Because I think they always have to be, any and all alcohol permits from the state have to be in plain sight all the time.
Well, yeah.
Yes, they do.
And so city or local permits have to follow the same rules or should.
So how many event days are you talking about before an event? And what type of a fee are you charging?
I would say,
And what are you classifying an event to? Events.
any place they wanna sell alcohol. So if we're charging Mitch $50, I would think that an event permit should be 55 or 60.
On here it says no more than 4 special event permits may be issued in a calendar year to the same applicant.
I don't know if I'd adhere to that.
I don't think I'd agree with that either, because when you do glue ball tournaments, they sell
Yeah,
beer up on Pete's Palace to the,
yeah, I would strike
No, they
that
don't.
out.
or donation. It's a donation,
They
right?
don't do that at all. The last year that any alcohol was sold out there, ABC was on the premises, and that was the rodeo one. And we told them to knock it off and no more, because they didn't have anything to support it.
They were there, really?
ABC checked the rodeo and was going around town.
No kidding? That surprises me.
Nope, they've been here several times.
No kidding.
I know when Boondocks was open, they used to send kids in it
Really?
to catch them. Oh, yeah, all the time.
Well, I had boys, stepsons that they used to use in Topeka area.
Wow.
To
I didn't
catch-
know that was real. I thought that was just something to scare you.
Oh,
Nope.
no,
Let's look at the
they
page.
do,
The cop
to
came
see
in
if
and
you
asked
card
him if he
them
would do it.
and to
He
see
did
if
it
you
for
were following.
$25 to $50 a time.
Wow.
They drop them off all over Kansas.
Yep,
So on page 28, um, section C, city clerk shall notify chief of police. Um,
So that would be city marshal.
So city marshal,
Or should that be the county even though, since we don't have a city?
well, if we have a
Police
This is,
marshal.
department.
but this is at an ordinance. They can't enforce local ordinances.
Yeah.
and we have to get a code enforcer, or a city marshal as
Okay.
soon as possible.
Should I put an ad in the paper? I mean,
I think you should, myself. We need
is there
to-
is there an ordinance that we have to, like, we put ads in the paper when there is a vacancy, like, for employment?
Yeah, you just need to put that on the city meeting so we can take a vote,
Yeah,
since we can't make binding
Tomorrow.
decisions.
okay,
Yeah, I think it's in
so,
an ordinance already though.
so this
But
is
here,
pretty,
I'll put it on there. What did we just talk about?
this, temporary permits, Article 7 is pretty cut and dried, pretty simple.
And when you put an ad, are you putting an ad in the paper? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, or on the website even, but mostly ad in the paper.
No, I would suggest an ad in the paper,
Or
and I would,
Facebook?
I would suggest probably an ad that goes out to different counties.
Yeah, I would go.
Yeah, because I don't think that they
don't
well, they
have to
say it's not
necessarily
recommended to
reside.
have a person like that live in town, like a code enforcer.
Well, we
You're
have to
supposed to have them
change the
from out of
ordinance
town.
anyway.
Would be.
The ordinance says within city.
Yeah, well, the marshal.
No, it says
We
within the
took-
city?
Yeah, it does. Well, I think it does if I'm looking
I didn't
at the
think
right
that they
thing.
did. I thought they were at the right to hire.
I think that's why we send it as a marshal. I was thinking that was, I'll check it.
Yeah, we should advertise in whatever the surrounding counties are. Nass, Ellis.
Well, because you might be able to get a moonlighting police officer.
Yeah.
Because that was our
Must
theory in
be
the
a bona fide
beginning.
resident of the
That'd be
city of
nice.
McCracken.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was thinking
So we
that.
need to change that, huh?
I think
Well, but
so.
we.
Well, but we
no,
have to-
We have
no.
to charter out of 1502.
Yeah, you have to charter that out. So that's a 60-day,
That would have to go
Charter.
with that city councilor.
The
They would have to be the same ordinances. We have to charter out the residency requirement.
So we should get started on that tomorrow, huh?
getting a charter ordinance, like, well, we had to vote on it tomorrow. Yeah, get it started. The
Yeah, 'cause
process,
it's
yeah.
gonna take us 60 days.
yeah,
I mean-
because that one's 60 days, 2 consecutive papers.
Yeah, we need to get that done.
So that would have to be done before, I mean, we could go ahead and implement if you wanted to, Marshall, but
Are you
we'd
sure
have
we
to
didn't
do
set
that
these
here.
ourselves?
But
Like these terms are sure that that is what's in the statute? Or did
Yes,
we
that
set
is
those?
our,
I didn't set anything. That's what it was in the state statute.
Okay. Because I don't see a number behind it like he
Because he
usually
told me that
does.
we would have to charter out of the city marshal, because you can charter out of the city marshal as a whole and not have a city marshal. You can charter out of it as a whole.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, usually you put KSA, blah, 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 and it's not behind that, so maybe we did that
151601.
Like, we decided to make that a stipulation, so we wouldn't have to charter out of it. So you know what I mean? Because usually he puts KSA something behind those.
oh, I got it thinking here.
I can find that out.
I probably got the ordinance. Let me find it. Okay, this is how
That's
it,
a tough nut to crack. I mean, getting a marshal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough to
okay,
just
this is
even
how it
get
reads.
letters of interest.
The Board of Commissioners shall appoint for a term of 1 year by majority vote of all members, therefore, the following officers: city clerk, city treasurer, municipal judge, municipal court, and city marshal or chief of police, and may be appointed the following officers. City, okay, and that would be attorney, fire chief, necessarily, and there is appointed as salary. Such persons shall hold respective offices until their successor appointment, fill the vacancy of such a
We wouldn't be
appointee
able to fill that
shall
vacancy
serve in
until
the remainder
resignation
term.
anyways.
Well, he's not gonna resign, because he's already
He would
gone.
have to. He would have to sign a resignation.
But
It's
he's
state
gone
law.
now. What are we supposed to do if they leave?
He's going to have to sign this paper that says he resigns and that he sign his name, and then we can fill that position.
We just need to find out where to mail it to.
Yeah.
Because we can mail it to him.
Yeah, you can mail it. He can sign it and send it back. You can send us an
I mean, how can you force somebody to do that, though?
Well, he's
What if he doesn't want to?
resigned.
I'm just asking, what if he doesn't want to and, like, doesn't do it? Then we would never be able to have one again?
We
Well,
wouldn't
I
be able to
don't-
fill that position.
We would never be able to fill that
No,
position?
because on the library board,
I'm just asking,
when
I'm
we have
curious.
a person pass away, their next of kin has to fill out a paper that says that they resign from that position and sign off on it as an executive of the state. It's state law. Because
I was just thinking,
because they're
if somebody
appointed.
didn't- if
Because they're
somebody wanted to
appointed.
say, you know, let's say it was a disgruntled somebody, you know?
But he's a hire.
He's not a city employee. He's appointed.
He
Yeah.
is? I
Yep.
thought he was hired.
No, he's a
No,
city,
he-
he's an appointed.
Yeah, I
He's
had
just
to
like
give him an
Shane.
oath.
Yeah, he's under an oath. Because he's statute required.
Huh, that just surprises me that, like I said, what if it was under bad
There must be
terms
some,
and then
there
they
must
didn't
be
want to?
some remedy to that, though. I mean, I'm sure
Because I hope he
people-
does, because what if he doesn't want to? What could we do? We can't compel him
I'm
back to the
sure-
state.
I
I'm sure
really
other
don't
cities
think
have
you'd
run
have a
into
I don't
that.
think you'd have a
with
problem
it.
with it. I think you just send him a
I think-
resignation, says you resign, and just he signs it and you send it back.
I think if you just contacted him on Facebook.
He'd probably just email you.
Because he's got a Facebook page. Just Facebook page, messenger him, ask for his address, and tell him what you're gonna do, and just, I don't think you'd have a problem with it, to be honest with
contact
you.
And then, I don't wanna go off topic, because I know we have a lot to do here. But do we have a court? Do we have a judge?
Yeah,
Yeah, the judge.
Judge Brown.
Judge Brown.
Well,
I've
have we
never
talked
really
to him?
actually talked to him,
We need,
but
I think that I need to talk to him, or somebody needs to talk to him. It doesn't necessarily have to be
Maybe
me.
just touch base with him.
Yeah. Is it Brown, B-R-O-W-N, you know?
I believe so, like the color.
Okay, what, city is he out of, or county?
Hoxie, isn't he?
Yes.
I think if I remember correctly. Under technicality, anyway.
And then I think that we should stop on building and construction and do that next time.
Yeah, we
Because
can quit.
It's been 2 hours and that's gonna be a lot. You know, that's gonna be a,
Are you past this one?
Well, there's a lot of that that we don't even want to comply with.
Yeah, we should continue to look over the alcohol thing.
Yeah.
like research.
Well, I thought you were on Article 8, I didn't know. Is that not where we stopped?
I'm on,
Special event CMP permits, is that not where we stopped? Or where did you stop? I don't know. where
I
we
was
stopped.
gonna, I thought we would
that's what-
research more on the special events and stuff like that, like,
Yeah, let's look more into that.
A
There's
temporary
there's a lot
permit.
So
here.
it's been 2 hours since we've been here?
yes.
Okay, so
Okay,
I'm gonna
we
go
got
ahead
a
and make a
meeting
motion.
tomorrow, too.
I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's moved to second to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same side, motion carried.